Good morning. Welcome to Joy News. That's good. Coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We are on DTT because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. We're coming to you also on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Joy News on TV. My personal handle is @Denana Aisha. Coming up this morning, we'll take you to the Upper East region where residents of Ayopia are pleading with the government to reconstruct their dam because what they have does not retain water for dry season farming. Also this morning, governing NPP condemns content of a leaked tape in which some NPP big wigs are heard plotting the removal of the IGP. And later on this week's Flats of Trauma, we'll take you to the Volta region and tell you what authorities are doing to avert the recurrence of any floods in the future after some residents lost millions of cedis worth of goods and property in the recent floods. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Please stay for details. So we begin with residents of Ayopia in the Bongo district in the Upper East region where President Akufo-Addo first cut sword for the One Village, One Dam project to commence. They say the dam dries up shortly after Christmas. They still value the project and are requesting the government to bring contractors back to the site to do a better job. Dams built to aid dry season farming are incapable of retaining enough water and dry up by January each year. Jojo Corbina brings you excerpts of Joy News Hotline documentary titled Testy Dams.
Water to the northerner is like blood. When we have water, we can do a lot of things for ourselves.
And without it, unemployment, poverty, and famine. To escape, many young people travel down south for supposed greener pastures. The NPP government provided a solution: one village, one dam.
The then candidates and then the running mates visited a chief in one of these villages and met the women digging the ground with their bare hands for water. So when they saw that, they said, well, when we come to power, we will provide you with water that can be better than what you are using your bare hands to construct. And that is how come the promise of one village, one dam.
I'm saying every village, one dam. One village, one dam.
The policy appealed to the people in the northern regions.
The government came here and told us that they will be giving us dam. And our people assured them that if they give them dam, they also let them laugh. And really, you can ask our assemblyman and even ask the NPP people what this community did for them. They voted massively for them.
It was a political promise that won the hearts and minds of the people. The dams should make it possible for farmers to farm all year round and break the cycle of waiting for the rains before cultivation. It was the reason why the people of Bongo sang and danced till they became drenched in sweat. When the president cut salt for the implementation of the project.
We have begun the One Village, One Dam initiative, and you here in Bongo can see for yourself that we have begun the initiative. It is our intention that Bongo alone will get 10 dams this year. 570 are being built. You heard the minister across the 3 northern regions, and Bongo constituency alone is going to get 10 out of that 570.
This campaign promise has been fulfilled. Well, but not quite.
Dam always take us 2 months to dry up.
Only 2 months?
Only 2 months. October, November, the water dry up. November, like this, you see our pepper farm, you will like it. But where? No water again.
My name is Jojo Kobinan. It has been 5 years since the dams were constructed. My job here is simple. Find out how the dams are serving the people as it should and what concerns the people have. I hope government will use the findings in this documentary to improve the current state of the dams.
Thirsty Dams today on the Super Morning Show at 8 a.m. and also at 8:30 p.m. on the Joy News channel. Let's move on to other stories. Authorities in the Volta region have proposed a reconstruction of culverts along some storm drains in Ho to prevent perennial flooding. They believe expanding the culverts will enable accommodating large volumes of water and prevent it from overflowing on the streets and shops. There's more in the following report by Fred Kwame Asare.
Saturday, 8th July 2023 would go down in the history books of the Volta regional capital, Ho. The Ghana Meteorological Service said it recorded 189.2 millimeters of rain on that fateful day, the highest rainfall in about 2 decades. The rainfall caused a flash flood that swept through Ho, destroying shops and homes along drains and on waterways.
We received a distress call that there is a flooding at Ho Bankwe. So we came here quickly. On our arrival, we saw that it was a disaster. The gutter full up and then spread and broke into one of the clothing store, our store.
The National Disaster Management Organization indicated that some 1,051 residents were affected by the flood, with the central business district suffering the greatest effects. The flood broke through the back of a textile shop in Ho Bankwe and washed away goods worth billions of Ghana cedis.
There is billions of cedis. Billions of cedis because Agba, Ghana cedi. Me gavio, Agba no koma me. A wholesale cry, I don't get rid of my uniform. And no pay as home, especially printers. Uniform, and nest.
Some residents blame the perennial flooding on the size of storm drains and construction works along the Kabakaba mountain. Joy News checks revealed that some residents have erected buildings and fence walls on waterways, hence obstructing the natural flow of water.
When you see the volume of water flowing from the mountain top down there, down to this place where we are now, it's very great. And obstacles here and there, people blocking the path of the water flow because of their constructions.
First of all, there is the need to desilt the existing drains that we have. So when that is done, then we can expect that more money will be found later on to do expansion and reconstruction of the drain.
The Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, acknowledged that lands along the mountain are becoming a preferred choice for residents and hospitality industry players. He called for a halt of construction works along the mountain as an immediate measure to curb flooding in Ho.
Without sounding selfish, I think that we should put a stop to further development on this ridge, because it's also increasing the volume of water that comes into the city, and we have to regulate it so that the water can at least soak into the ground. But if we have We have these concrete floors all over the place. We have buildings everywhere. When the water comes from up there, it must come to, water finds its own way. So it will by all means move from the higher levels to the lower levels. So if we have to, the assembly will have to come up with a scheme to control the further development of the ridge. It's very important. The assembly can start demolishing structures that are obviously on the waterway, that have no permits. They can start the demolition.
The Volta Regional Engineer of the Ghana Hydrological Authority, Kennedy Klugerson, indicated that culverts of the main drainage systems must be reconstructed. His outfit strongly believes it would end the perennial flooding in Ho.
There was a MOU between the government of Ghana and some companies to construct some of the drains in the whole capital city, but they couldn't turn up. And looking at it right from the Flower Road, that's the Donokoji area, Leprosarium. As you can see, when we went there, you realize that we need to remove those culverts. Barras one also, we need to remove that one. Almost most of the old existing culverts, we need to remove all of them, replace them with bigger size culverts.
The residents are hoping the authorities would act on what they preach to save Ho from the annual flooding. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Ho.
Governing Secretary of the NPP, Justin Kodia, says the party condemns the content of a leaked tape which captured an unnamed senior police officer and some purported bigwigs of the NPP plotting the removal of the IGP, Dr. Akufo Dampare. According to Mr. Kodia, it will be unfortunate for anybody to link the NPP to the tape because the claims are unsubstantiated.
Unfortunate that they will make such an unsubstantiated allegation against the New Patriotic Party. To start with, IGP was appointed by His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the Constitution gives him the power to do so. And I'm not sure when His Excellency was making the appointment, he consulted me as General Secretary or the National Chairman. It is his prerogative. So he has the power to decide if the IGP continues or his appointment could be terminated, or if certain appointment could also be given to him. So isn't that here or not there?
So what's your official stance as a party on this tape?
Well, unfortunately, it's something that as a party we condemn it. To start with, it's something that we condemn it as a party. But at the end of the day, you also ask yourself, how did all these things happen? Was it a stage thing? Was it a setup? Who went there to record it? And what was the intention of the person who went to also record it and also leaked it out? You should also ask that question.
So is there a possibility that the party will also conduct its independent investigation to know which party member was involved in that alleged tape?
Well, I don't know which party person you are talking about. And at the end of the day, it does not lie in the purview of the party. How can the party come here and conduct an investigation into it? In what capacity? Tell me, in what capacity?
Because the claim is that NPP people were involved in that plot.
Well, so far as we are aware as a party, we are not involved. We don't know who went there to record it. And I believe the national security, the police service, have all the requisite personnel and resources to do their own investigation.
Do you support the parliamentary inquiry into this tape?
Well, it lies in the purview of Parliament. They have the power to do so. So if in their own wisdom they feel they need to investigate, so be it.
Meanwhile, the national chairman of the NPP, Stephen Ntim, says the party does not support the activities of gays. Speaking at the Thanksgiving service to commemorate a year in office by the current executives of the party, Stephen Ntim took a categorical stance on the matter.
The New Patriotic Party, which I represent as national chairman, wishes to articulate explicitly, in no uncertain terms, without any bells and whistles, that we have a position on the topic that is making the rounds, not just in Ghana, but across the globe. What is the position of the new patriotic party when it comes to LGBTQ? I'm sure most of the people here, if not all, will say that Ghana frowns upon the LGBTQ. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why would I, Stephen and Tim, why would our General Secretary, Justin Frimpong Kudia, why would this able national organizer national third vice chairman and all the men here and also the women here stoop so low and opt for LGBTQ? I want to state emphatically, without any fear of equivocation, that the new patriotic party that I chair will never support LGBTQ.
Let's stick with the NPP because Vice President and presidential aspirant of the NPP, Dr. Bawumia, has cautioned party delegates not to vote for anybody claiming to be richer than others in the upcoming presidential primary. Speaking to delegates as he toured the Ashanti region, Dr. Bawumia said he has experience over all his contenders in the presidential race and should be given the nod to lead the party. He says the race is about policies and not a rich man's contest.
Flagbearer Flagbearer, there will be a bit near flagbearer. If you don't go, Madame, for one of the bit near flagbearer. And yes, sir, by a Obia Uyina, Obetia could get to me. And yet, Sikanina, show. And yes, because
as we go for the presidential primaries, we need someone who can reclaim power for us, not just anybody. We need a selfless leader to lead the party and not a rich man.
And yes, sir, our track record, our experience, our ideas, innovative ideas, our humility, our temperament, our maturity, our tolerance for everybody. Sad qualities, you know, not all here in the president. And yes, I always seek out.
Touting his achievement, Dr. Bawumia said he is the only strategist to beat former President John Mahama in the 2024 election.
Political experience, you know, campaign.
Amongst all the 10 presidential aspirants, I have the political experience of all of them, especially winning elections against John Mahama in particular. I have defeated him twice, and I know how to do it again in 2024.
We're still live on Joy News Desk. Let's take a break. When we return, there is more. Inmates of Ghana's prison face far-reaching difficulties, including inadequate feeding quotas and lack of sanitary resources. Inmates are also vulnerable and exposed to harsh health implications as a result of their troubling living conditions. Shedding light on the difficulties, the chaplain of Kumasi Central Prisons, Reverend Stella Kacho, appealed to corporate bodies and individuals to contribute to mitigating the challenges. Clinton Yeboah has been there and he's filed this report.
Ghanaian prisons have been monumental facilities for rehabilitation, punishment and reintegration. However, many pressing concerns are being raised about the conditions within prisons, including the Kumasi Central Prison, which accommodates 3,000 convicts, remand prisoners and inmates on trial. Inadequate feeding allowance and non-availability of proper sanitation resources, especially in the female wards, characterize the prison. The chaplain of Kumasi Central Prisons, Reverend Stella Kachu, is calling on entities to extend their benevolence to prisoners.
We also want to appeal to the general public that whoever wants to come and help us is welcome, because our feeding fee is 1 cedi 80 pesos for an inmate. So we are calling on churches, individuals, corporate organizations to visit us, to give to us all the items that human beings need. We also need it, from sanitary pads for our female prisoners to food items, to toiletries, on any other thing that you want to come and help us to. We have a school here, we have a health facility here, so you can come and donate books to us. You can come and also donate medical equipment to our health facility.
She was speaking in appreciation of a donation made by the Ashanti Presbytery Women in Fellowship of EP Church Ghana. The donation included 60 chairs, bundles of sanitary pads, food items and packages of toiletries. Treasurer of the Ashanti Presbytery Women in Fellowship of the EP Church, Mrs. Grace Adinkra, observed the severity of the condition in the prisons motivated the fellowship to embark on the gesture.
That sanitary pads are lacking. Very expensive nowadays to get sanitary pads for our children at schools. So here, how come our women at the prison yard? Circumstances brought them here. So to get the sanitary pads is a problem. That is why we are here with the sanitary pads, to help them at least to alleviate the problems that they are going through.
The donation forms part of the annual celebration of the Ashanti Presbytery Women in Fellowship. Report in Future News, Clinton.
A former board member of credit rating agency Moody's, Daryl Duffy, has cast doubts about the African Union establishing a rating agency. In March 2019, the AU Ministers of Finance and Economy officially adopted a declaration that such an institution was needed. In recent times, President Akufo-Addo has also attacked the rating agencies over their continuous downgrade of Ghana and other African economies. The African continent is said to be losing $75 billion each year due to credit rating bias. However, reacting to the claims, the renowned professor of finance Daryl Duffy, who serves as a senior fellow at the Hoover Institute, said he disagrees there's systematic bias by rating agencies. He's been speaking to my colleague Blessed Soga, but what does it take to establish such rating agencies in Africa? Is there the urgent need for such rating agencies in Africa? We can speak with Professor Williams Pepra, who is a professor of finance at the Andrews University, Michigan. I'm grateful for your time, Prof.
Good morning, Aisha.
Prof, your stance on accusations that the foreign rating agencies have been biased when it comes to Africa's economy.
Good morning to you, Aisha. I think the concern has been with the qualitative aspects that affect the ratings of African countries, especially when it comes to the political risk angle. In the quantitative aspect, so let me put it, in doing the risk assessment, there is a first part, which is the quantitative aspect. The quantitative aspect looks at 5 main elements. The first one is the character, that is the country's ability to repay the loan, what kind of collateral is the country or the entity giving, what is the condition attached to the loan, also what is the, I mentioned the collateral and the condition, and then the capital. These are easily obtained based on financial information that are given by countries or any institutions under review. The major concern has been the qualitative side, which is the subjective part. And normally the subjective part are the ones that are termed as futuristic or outlooks. Normally the qualitative side are based on the researchers or the the assessor's point of view, what he thinks may happen in the future that will make a country or an institution default. And that is where the major issue has been. And I'm sure if you hear of all the concerns, the political risk percentage that are tied to the interest charge is very huge. And it's based on that I'm sure the African Union and other presidents are making the case that we have not been treated fairly when it comes to the outlooks or the qualitative side. So if you ask my opinion whether it is good for African countries to establish our own, yes, we are ready, and I will support that kind of agenda to have an African ratings credit organization. What may happen is that we may have to align our rating scores with the international rating scores or international rating agencies that exist. And then in the basket or the percentages are tagged to each of the rating factors, Africans may come out with our own rating factors. The major challenge I also foresee, which will come with African Union establishing it, is whether we be able to establish fairness for the credit agencies on country analysis basis. Because if it is owned by African Union, such entities may seem not to be partial. So that is where this issue will come in. So these are my assertions for based on your question.
Is this something that is feasible, considering that in Africa we've had challenges of investing in research?
I mean, it's something that we can do, because already we have the human capital. Most of the ratings agencies in the world already have. If you visit those entities, there are experienced, well-qualified Africans already in these institutions working. We may tap into these institutions, bring some of them to Africa, and then they will bring in the African perspective in the ratings. So in terms of re-establishing it, it's something that we can do. We already have the human capital in Africa. That is very easy for us to do. In terms of the research, most of the banks in Africa already have their in-house research professionals. Doing analysis, we may tap into it. There is nothing so special about the existing credit agencies in the world. Just that they have built a credibility. They have been operating for a very long time. They started some like we are thinking of doing something like that in Africa. Should we start our own, with time, we may build that kind of credibility and recognition by the world. And countries they will still have to be liaising with the existing credit agencies. What I foresee is that maybe the income generating activities for these existing credit agencies may go down because every country, you mostly, if you want to go to the international market and you request for credit agencies to do an appraisal of your risk factors, you pay fees. So if we are going to establish our own African-owned credit agency, it means that the international or the foreign ones are going to have their revenues reduced. That is where probably we may see that kind of challenges. But they will find a way to align it, and the competition will also help to bring the best. And if even within the existing credit agencies, the rates are always not the same. There were some times Ghana was given B by Fitch, and Moody's gave us B plus, and where others gave us B minus. So these are some of the things that we really need to work on. And with time, the African one will be able to stand and match the existing ones. We need an agency that really understands our context. And that is where I think that the arguments from the African Union leaders are coming from, that the existing credit agencies, they don't really understand the peculiarities of African context, and it cost us in terms of the interest cost. So if we are able to do that, it will help to reduce the interest cost in the future.
Prof, I'm grateful for your time. Prof. Williams Price, Professor of Finance at the Andrews University in Michigan. Let's take a break on a Joy News desk. But before we take that break, some 60 female students of the Nankpanduri Senior High School in the Northeast region have been sleeping in a classroom since last month after their dormitory block was destroyed by fire. Authorities of the school revealed that several appeals for support made to the Disaster Management Organization and District Assembly are yet to receive any positive response. The affected students say the situation is affecting their health and learning activities. They were speaking after receiving a donation of relief items from the Member of Parliament, Abednego. Correspondent Elias Otanko has more.
On the 9th of June 8, 2023, at about 7 to 8 p.m., a 6-unit girls' dormitory block of the Nankpanduri Senior High School was engulfed and destroyed by fire. The fire ravaged 2 out of the 6-room facility before it was brought under control with the help of the townspeople. Students were not in the facility at the time of the fire, but 60 of them eventually were affected as the fire consumed all their belongings, including mattresses, learning materials, food items, and clothes, amongst others. No injury was recorded, but some of the students fainted upon seeing the destruction done to their properties. Faced with no option after the incident, the school authorities were forced to move the affected students to be temporarily accommodated in this classroom, whilst an appeal for assistance was made to both the regional office of the Disaster Management Organization and the Bunkpurgu Nankpanduri District Chief Executive, among other stakeholders. However, according to the school headmaster, the authorities are yet to come to the rescue of the students.
For almost a month today, my students are lying on the floor, no mattresses, no mosquito nets, no blankets, and with nobody to turn to again. Several calls have been made, but I will say many people have come, but there's a positive response. You are number one, and we welcome that, and we thank you so much.
Headmaster was speaking after receiving a donation of mattresses, sanitary pads, and other relief items from the Member of Parliament, Dr. Abednego Bandim. The headmaster expressed gratitude on behalf of the school to the MP and encouraged others to also come and help.
Maybe what you have done today will push the others to follow suit. So today, you have visited, and what we are seeing today, I can assure you that my students will sleep and sleep well, and they will sleep and pray for you.
The affected students complain of severe mosquito bite, adding that the situation was affecting their health as well as their preparedness for the final examination.
Sleeping here, there's a lot of mosquitoes this season, and it bites us, and we get malaria through it. So every day, a lot of students go to the hospital for treatment, and I standing here, I'm the health professor. I've been signing so many exits for them to go to hospital for treatment.
All my books have got burned, so currently I have to always go and ask books from my friends, and sometimes you go in there, and then the fellow will tell that today I'm also using sex subject. So you even collect it, you will not let up to 30 minutes, the person will come and take it.
Please, what I have to say is we need their help. They should please help us. Without their support, we can't get to the next level, because as it's affecting us, it can let some of us drop out from school. So we really need their help so that we will be able to get to the next level.
The Member of Parliament, in his address, expressed satisfaction for having come to the aid of the students. He strongly called on the Disaster Management Organization and the District Assembly leaders to provide immediate assistance to the school.
I'm calling upon NGOs and government institutions, particularly NADMO. I have written to NADMO and went to the NADMO headquarters to make follow-ups. They have not yet even acknowledged my letter. I'm appealing to NADMO to come and assist the Nampanduri Senior High School with relief items to make you comfortable enough to study. Other NGOs are equally appealing to you. I understand that some sons of the land have also visited. It's my hope that they will soon come to honor the pledges and the promises that they have made, so that you will be able to write your exams comfortably, and I believe you will pass.
The MP also announced his plan to take some of the students on a tour of the parliament, whilst pledging to continue to help address the challenges of the school. Elias Sotanko from Nakpanduri for Joy News.
Just live on Joy News Desk. We're coming to you from our studio in Kokomlemle on the Fan of a Street. Let's take a break. When we return, there's business.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to the business segment on Joy News Desk with me, Pius Kojobaka. Senior partner and founder of AB and David Ofosudate, is urging business owners to strictly adhere to business ethics in the course of the operations. According to him, this will ensure the sustainability of the business devoid of unforeseen challenges. He was speaking at the Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship.
Result of things relating to their lack of integrity, failure to apply ethics and things like that. So yes, it is everything. And even though there are challenges to it in sticking to, doing a business with integrity and being ethical, in the long run, that is what makes a business sustainable. I wouldn't say likely to fail, but it runs the risk of getting into the challenges that come with not, adhering to ethical issues. So, for example, if you have shortcuts, if you don't keep to standards, and you say things which that's not what you are doing and it is found out, then customers begin to shun your business. So it is in your long-term interest not to have shortcuts, but to keep to the ethics of whatever it is that you are doing.
Now, Promacito Ghana has announced the introduction of all its new Cowbell Premium and Cowbell Vitarage to the beverage market. According to the managing director of the company, Festus Tete, this is to meet the evolving consumer needs in the dairy category and offer nutritive value to the public. He spoke to Joy Business at the outdoor of the new products in Accra.
The 2 instant filled milk powders are enriched with the right proportion of nutrients in addition to a great taste of creamy goodness. Festus Tete said his outfit will continue to prioritize its consumer preferences.
Well, today's event is purely a renovation of our flagship brand, Cowbell, to address consumer needs in our current context of our economic situation, where we need to ensure that for the mass consumers that we have catered for all those 24 years, we give them offerings that will meet their current economic circumstances. That's the key essence of today, that our brand Cowbell is responsive to consumer needs and consumer sensitivities in times like this. As a brand, the essence of Cowbell is to deliver value to the consumer. We know that the premium Cowbell will not meet everybody's pockets. So we had to deliver affordable nutrition through Vitarage to the mass public to ensure that quality food is a basic human right.
Corporate Communication and Public Relations Lead at Promacito Ghana, Gideon Kodo, said the company will embark on some community engagement soon.
So as part of the launch, we intend embarking on some community support initiatives, which is going to run across the length and breadth of the country. We've already started the borehole project, which is still under the Cowbell brand. We also have nutrition assessment program, which is focused on the area of pediatric nutrition. Of course, you see, key in our messaging is the consumption of protein that we really want to, re-emphasize and also make sure that the children of Ghana are well nourished, So a lot of partners that we are looking at, we've already started conversation with the Otunfo Setitude II foundation. We're looking at literacy programs too as well.
The Cowbell Premium is a protein-rich powdered milk which contains essential nutrients for the growth and nourishment of the body. The product comes in captivating gold-themed packaging, with current stock-keeping units being 26 grams, 360 grams, sachet, and 400 tin pack size. The Cowbell Vita Rich, with its taste of creamy goodness, has 4 different stock-keeping units, which include 14 grams, 26 grams, 400 grams sachet, and the 400 tin pack size.
And that's it for business. I am Pius Kojobaka. More after this break.
Two persons have died after an illegal mining pit they were working in collapsed on them at Kumasi in the Asante Achim Central Municipality of the Ashanti region. The two were part of a group of illegal miners working in a concession belonging to Northern Ashanti Mines Limited. Many of the mining companies' concessions lie unprotected, becoming a haven for dangerous illegal mining joints in the town. Erastus Asaridonko was at the scene of the incident and now reports.
Asante Achim Odumase is known for deep pits illegal mining, eating into age-old mining pits and concessions. Digging beneath homes is a common practice which has so far claimed one life. Saturday's tragedy struck beneath these high-tension electric poles. This illegal mining activity within the concession of the Northern Ashanti Mining Limited has claimed 2 lives.
Now, what these illegal miners are doing here is that they use these machines, these chamfan machines. They dig beneath the ground over there, and they bring out the produce here, and they wash them over here, so creating a sludge that winds up beneath this load. So these machines you see here were the ones they were working with. The guys who were down the pit were working inside here, digging beneath the earth here, creating a big hole over there. So they were scooping the raw material full of gold, bringing it up here for washing. So whilst there, this whole earth became very loose. So beneath there, whilst they were digging, it collapsed and came on them, killing 2. 1 escaped unscathed.
It took rescuers hours to excavate the remains of the 2 miners.
I am now boy to me. Yeah, and I want it. I want they will be never Yamasuna at Aichi. A techie basis hours. A started base, my fans a bear night. Insuno started and night to night. And now, yeah, prepare the money momo. Oh, boy, Baco cried or Tibemi or Tibemi, Steven. Oh, bear 29.
The incident has shocked many, but it will not stop these miners whose colleagues have died from salvaging what is left of the materials they were digging for. Mining in this area perhaps will not stop. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaridonko, Odumase, Asante Achim Central, Ashanti region.
Let's now talk about the disposal of medical waste. Ghana's first medical waste facility is meant to properly sort and dispose medical waste has been commissioned at Adija in the Ashanti region. This is part of government's promise to create 14 medical waste facilities to tackle waste from various healthcare facilities across the country. According to the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Chief Executive Samuel Pine, the well-equipped medical waste facility will help accommodate the over 467,000 tons of solid waste generated annually by Kumasi and adjoining communities. Nana Boacheye Adam has more.
The well-equipped Kumasi Medical Waste Facility will properly treat an average of 10,000 kilograms of infectious waste generated throughout the Ashanti and neighboring regions. This is part of government's promise to build 14 treatment units to manage the disposal of medical waste. General Manager of the Medical Waste Services Limited of Zoom Lion, Engineer Senam Tengi, says the medical waste facility is established to address challenges in the healthcare industry.
What we do here is that we have microwave treatment systems that are able to treat every form of hazardous medical waste from the various healthcare facilities to render them harmless before disposal. The policy states that every healthcare facility needs to properly treat its healthcare waste before disposal. But then there's a very serious challenge with this, with the various healthcare facilities, in that the systems are very expensive. So most healthcare facilities are unable to afford such systems. Hence, the challenge that we are facing in our healthcare industry. So this Kumasi Medical Waste Treatment Facility, which is the first of its kind in this region, is here to solve that problem.
Director General of the Ghana Health Services, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, is hopeful the facility will put a stop to problems confronting medical waste systems in the country.
We are currently using, for those who do not have the best equipment, using open burning of waste. We are using incinerators that cost us a lot of high energy costs. Some are able to have some microwave services to offer medical waste management. And so there's a need for transformation into a safer, efficient, and environmentally friendly system. And what we have here provides this excellent results.
Ghana's ambassador to Belgium, Senasian Boateng, described the facility as a significant milestone in the fulfillment of Ghana's healthcare waste management policy.
This facility is a significant milestone in the fulfillment of Ghana's health waste management policy. It stands as a beacon of our commitment to safeguarding public health, protecting our environment, and ensuring the safe and efficient disposal of medical waste. It is a tangible demonstration of our dedication to creating a healthier, safer, and more sustainable world for all.
Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Chief Executive Samuel Pine expects the establishment of the waste facility to help accommodate over 467,000 tons of solid waste generated annually by Greater Kumasi and adjoining communities.
The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly and the 6 adjoining municipalities that form the Greater Kumasi area is a sprawling community with a population of over 2.5 million and a transient population of more than 800,000. This population generates close to 467,702 tons of solid waste annually. The disposal of these categories of waste is therefore quite challenging. It is therefore heartwarming that the region is receiving such massive infrastructure through public-private partnership between the government of His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
For Joy News, Nana Boache Dankwa Yadom, Kumasi.
And that's how we wrap up the bulletin this morning. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjournline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories there. See you again at 12.